This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Most importantly, thanks for listening. This is Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. It's all powered by Bowen Wealth. You can get more when you visit bowenwealth.com, and you can find that and all the information in the show notes. My name is Mark Owens. Now, let's get to the show. Brandon, Halloween coming up in a couple of days. What you got planned in the Bowen household?
Oh, well, it's a lot of front porch. So I guess at my house, I like to have music out there.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, good candy. You know, I can remember maybe my favorite time was during COVID because it was like, can we trick or we don't know.
Yeah.
And so we had built like this, or we got a long PVC pipe, you know, because we got like a elevated house. So we were like sliding them down. But I guess you still had to touch them.
Right.
But you were sliding them down the PVC pipe. And
I'll
the
force
kids
you to
were
be
like,
creative. You know?
I just wanted to throw it. You know, I was like, just throw it. Go deep.
You're slingshotting the Snickers from the front porch onto the sidewalk.
So, yeah, you know, just have fun, music, and just, you know, see all the cute kids. Mine are kind of now high schoolers, so it's like they're not supposed to trick or treat, right?
Yeah.
What's middle school is the cutoff, isn't it?
My cutoff was always if a kid just shows up with a pillowcase. Trick or treat. I'm like, what are you? I'm a high school kid.
At least be like in costume.
Yes.
Creative. Be respectful.
Yes.
You know, thank you. Yes, sir. No, you know, that kind of stuff. That's
9 times out of 10, even if that teenager shows up, I'm still going to give them candy because I don't want my house to get egged.
Yes. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Got it.
And then you cut all lights off.
Yes.
When you're done, you're done. You just cut them all off, and then because like don't come knocking on my door if all lights are off.
Okay, I'm going to give you a tip. All right.
Okay.
We're always talking financial strategies here on Charleston's Retirement Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know if you're not going to be there, what do? We put a bowl out, put a sign on it that says, "Please take one."
Yes.
Well, here's what I want you to do. Candy's gotten more expensive. Inflation, grocery shopping, everything is so expensive these days.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, put the bowl out. Say, "Please take one," but don't put any in there because it'd be gone anyway by the third group of trick-or-treaters. So they come up and they go, "Ugh, somebody already took all the good candy." Well, there's no candy to take in the first place, and you're saving the money, and you still look like you've done nothing wrong.
Oh, just put a bowl there.
Just put the bowl there. They're going to think it's already gone.
There you go. There you go.
Is it, ethical? I don't know. But still, you're saving the money because mini Hershey's are very expensive. Hey, let's talk a little bit this weekend about, as we're talking about candy. You know, as we're talking about having the good candy at your house, or, you know, maybe you're that house where you know it's always a party and it's always a lot of fun. The decorations are great. People are going to come back next year because they know that they're going to get a good time at your house. For what you do, Brandon, for the families you serve, that candy, those decorations, that's kind of like an annuity because it's reliable. Like the candy you're going to get. It's always something you can come back to because you know it's going to be there year after year. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. I think, yes. So that is what annuities do is they allow you to kind of go on autopilot, right? You don't have to stress. Let me tell you about it. Here's how I like to describe it. I did this on Low Country Live with Tom Crawford on there. I went and got a cookie cake. Okay. Now we can debate the best dessert, the best kind of cake. Where would you rank the cookie cake, Mark?
I'm a fan. I'm an ice cream cake guy first.
Okay. Yes.
But I like the cookie cake too.
Okay. Are we talking Great American Cookie Company or like Publix?
Oh, look at me, dude. I'll take any of them.
Just the extra icing, right?
It doesn't matter.
You don't have to write anything. Just
put it in front of me. It's going to get got.
Okay. All right. So I said I went and got a cookie cake. Okay. I went and got it from Publix and I took it to Channel 4, Low Country Live, and I said, we did this segment. We got in the kitchen there and I said, okay, Tom, I said, here, let's imagine that you have to host your grandkids' party, you know, summer party, swim party, whatever. You're in charge of the dessert. And so you've got the cookie cake. Okay. You had that. But here's the problem is that your kids didn't tell you how many of your grandkids' friends were going to come to this party. Okay. So you had no clue how many kids were going to show up. And so you're like, okay, well, I mean, I know my kid's awesome and my grandkid and they've got a lot of friends, but do we start with like, you know, 1/8 slices like a pizza?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We don't know. So that's the question is how big of a slice do you start off serving? Okay. Because here comes the first kid, comes up and you hand them a slice. So maybe we start doing, 8 slices. So you're starting to slice, but then you start seeing more and more kids pull up, more and more minivans. And here they come. They just keep pouring out of these minivans. All right.
I knew my kid was popular.
Yes, they're probably. So you're like, you're kind of proud of them because they're really popular.
Sure.
But what do you start doing with those slices?
Got to start cutting a little bit smaller.
It's a little bit smaller. You're like, oh shoot, you're kind of looking around here. You don't know, and so now you're closing in. You're almost done with this thing. You're cutting like just little pencil slices.
Right, and then you've got your piece that you cut for yourself saved.
Well, yeah, it's already been eaten. I mean, it's already quality control.
Go to the emergency
yes.
side.
So, but what if you made a deal with Publix or Great American Cookie Company that said, if you run out of this cookie cake, we will immediately provide you with a second one.
That's great.
And if you run out of that one, we will immediately bring you like Uber Eats. It's a boom. It's going to be right there, right? What if they said, we will provide you with unending slices here, right? So then how much confidence would you serve those slices with?
More confidence.
More. Yes. Tremendous. You would be like, who needs an extra one? It's like, I mean, you would be serving a consistent slice, the same size to each kid, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is kind of, stay with me here. This is an example of what income annuities do for my clients. Okay. And so if you don't have a pension, if you don't have other than Social Security, and how confident are you in Social Security moving forward? But if you don't have guaranteed income or some protected income built into your plan, you are going to be so stressed out when you get into retirement. And so with my clients, they like knowing that they have a certain amount of income coming in every single year, no matter how long they live. Mm-hmm. Okay. No matter if they run out of money in that annuity. Let's say that annuity completely runs out of money because you've been getting checks for 15 years. Now you're 20 years into this thing. Now you're in your 90s. Okay. Well, that's the deal you made with the insurance company, kind of like Publix or Great American Cookie Company, is they say, okay, it doesn't matter how long you live, sir, ma'am, we will continue to pay you this paycheck right here every year that you're alive. Okay. Even if you run out of money. And so what we like to do is we like to design with the proper retirement plan is we make sure we look and try to maximize that Social Security income stream with, you, and if you have a spouse there. So let's do that. If you have any other pension available, but if not, we need to take some of that 401k, some of your tax deferred money, and let's go buy a little bit of peace of mind.
Right.
Okay. And that's what you do. So you want to have maybe $4,000 to $6,000 of protected income in retirement. And what that does is that helps, if you know that you've got your standard of living, your housing, your transportation, your groceries, those basic needs, right? Mm-hmm. If you know that those are always going to be taken care of, you know that you won't be asking to move into your kid's house.
Right. It's the confidence. You have the confidence to know that you have the income.
That's right. So, and then, so that's the best part of it. But also there's annuities and there's features out there that have, hey, if you can't perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, okay, kind of like some long-term care features, what if we were able to double that income to help pay for those expenses? Well, that's available out there. Okay. So these insurance companies, they're run by smart people.
Yeah.
They see the need out there with the retiree today, in these days. And that is that there is a massive shortfall of protected income. So this is a product that you probably don't know much about because you've been in growth mode. Okay. Trying to grow this money. And you haven't really been paying attention, and you've thought annuities, that's not for me. I don't know, and you haven't really paid attention. But now, if you're heading into retirement or already retired, you need to call a quick timeout. You need to come into the office, pick up the phone first, reach out to my office, but we need to come in and you need to design an income stream that you can have confidence in. Okay. And so once you've done this work, then you can have that lifestyle that we're talking about here, where you're hosting parties for the grandkids. I mean, it's a way for you to maintain discipline, financial discipline during those highly emotional seasons that are going to come.
Right.
Okay. And what I'm talking about is a market crash, right? We've got an election coming up.
Yeah.
What's going to happen right after this election? We don't know. Nobody knows. Okay. Right. But we know that there will be a market crash at some point. Right. It's been a long time here. So when we have these highly emotional times, then that's where this protected income can really, really come in handy. So if you know that you don't have this protected income or you want to add more to that, pick up the phone right now. I've got my team members standing by for a call or even a text. That number is 843-890-2400. That's 843-890-2400. Pick up the phone or text us the word income analysis, and we can then get to work helping you take a look at what you could do better. For example, I've got some clients here that came in, they reached out. This was about 3 years ago, and they had saved about $5 million. Okay. Tremendous job. They had done a tremendous job. And most of this money was in tax deferred accounts. Okay. So they had really saved well. They had that matching. And for 40 years, they had, been putting in a lot of money, but they only had Social Security, and they wisely added in an annuity here for protected income, right? Because they were like, hey, we want to have a nice income stream for sure. We want to have that income stream. So how can we set up diversified income? And we did that. We've got several strategies, but we used a tremendous income stream annuity with a piece of that money. And Mark, now 3 years into their retirement, they actually called me while on vacation. Okay. They take about 15 trips a year. By the way, I've had them like that's one of the things we talk about every time they come in, all the trips they're taking. But they were on a trip and they called and they said, hey, Brandon, can you turn down the income? It's almost like a fire hose of, it's like, it was just too, they were like, we're trying to spend all of this income that's coming in.
Right.
And we're not, it's just building and building and building.
Yeah.
Which is good. And we're spending with confidence. Yeah, we're spending with confidence. But, how about just let's leave some of it in the plan. You don't need to send us this much here. It's like $250,000 a year coming in,
Right.
And I'm like, I love this. This is great. First off, keep traveling, keep spending. Yes, we'll turn it down a little bit here. But that's what, if you have 500,000, okay, it's all percentages.
Sure.
Okay, if you've got 500,000 or maybe $1 million. We can design this plan so that this money, instead of pursuing growth, we want it to turn around and face you. Okay. And now how can we make it for your benefit, create the best income and the most potential peace of mind moving forward?
Again, that number 843-890-2400. We have a team member of Bowen Wealth standing by right now to talk to you, to answer your questions, or maybe you'd like to send a text. I've seen this firsthand. It's so easy just to text the word income to 843-890-2400. You'll get a quick response back. Hey, how are you? When's a good time to talk to you? I can talk at this time. Great. We'll set it up. And that's it. That's how easy it is to begin the conversation with Brandon and the team at Bowen Wealth. Or, of course, you can make the phone call, 843-890-2400. And all of this income, Brandon, is through an annuity. There are a lot of layers to an annuity, but it could be a really good opportunity for that extra guaranteed income in retirement.
That's right. Yeah. And so let me first acknowledge that annuities have gotten a bad name. Okay. Right. High fees, things like you tie up your money.
Yeah.
Right. So we talk through these things. The ones I like have no fees. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but yes, you do tie up the money a little bit. So, and it might not be for everybody, but that's what they're built for, is tremendous income.
843-890-2400 to have deeper conversations about how an annuity could benefit your retirement strategy. Of course, you can always get more when you visit bowenwealth.com. I got to admit, I'm not mad at that family, that couple that takes 15 trips a year.
Yeah.
That's goals right there. That's a life goal. And you said they were at the Sphere in Vegas?
Nope, that's a different couple.
Another couple that was
other clients
doing well.
I was talking to some this past week, and I could tell he was on his phone. We were doing a little Zoom meeting, and I was like, "Where are you?" And he spun his phone around, and I could see the Sphere in Vegas. He was going to see the Eagles, and I was like, "Good for you guys. Keep doing this. I love it."
Dude, you are helping people live their best life. I love
best
that.
Life.
Yeah, bowenwealth.com. You can meet Brandon. You can meet the team. You can schedule that consultation from the homepage. Or again, we invite you to call right now, 843-890-2400. I want to go back to our Halloween conversation from a little bit earlier. So obviously a lot of fun. We have a great time on Halloween. But you know who I am most concerned for regarding Halloween?
Dentists.
Dentist? I guess that's 1A and 1B. Yes. Dentist about a month from now.
But, yeah.
But our teacher friends on Friday. Because these kids are going to be so hopped up.
Amped up, yes.
On sugar. They're going to have sugar for breakfast. They're going to bring it in their book bag. It is going to be I have a bunch. I come from a family of teachers. And
this is the thing.
Hate the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
But I want you to hear this clip. Speaking of teachers. So, it's a thankless job. Nothing but love and respect for all of our teachers out there. There is a comedy group made up of teachers. They're called the Bored Teachers Comedy Group, selling out across the country. I want you to hear a clip from them. This gentleman's name is Mark Schumacher, and he talks about when the principal comes to observe him.
I would always stress out when I get observed by my principal. Anytime you get observed by your boss, it's stressful. I started bribing my students. I told them, hey, you guys make me look good when the principal's in the room, pizza party. Here's what we're going to do. Anytime the principal's in the room and I ask you guys a question, you're all going to raise your hands. You raise your right hand if you know the answer. Your left hand if you don't. Guys, can you say teacher of the year?
My man got it figured out right there.
There you go.
Good on him. Hey, let's talk a little bit for how that relates to what you do, especially for people who are almost timid about making the phone call or a little nervous about coming to see you for the first time, because that first meeting can be a little intimidating. We've all made financial mistakes in our past. We're looking to better ourselves in the future. So when people come to see you and they have these specific questions about the retirement plans or goals, how do you approach, and more importantly, how do you help calm our anxiety a little bit within that first consultation?
Well, so I would say if you were to pick up the phone, give us a call or a text, I mean, the first thing that'll happen, you'll talk to Tanya, or she'll text with you, and then, maybe we set up a time for you to come in for a first appointment. She'll send you an email. There'll be a link on there that will take you to our website where there's a video embedded. And so that video is me just discussing, hey, what can you expect at this first meeting? What do you need to bring in with you? All this good stuff. There's a data form you can download. So then let's say you get that form, you go through, complete it as best you can. And it's a lot of like, hey, what are some of your concerns? And, how do you feel about your top two, maybe financial concerns right now? Really what hurts, like a doctor would say. So then you come in. And so then when you sit down, we've got chocolate chip cookies baked for everybody for every meeting. So come hungry. Or if you want some coffee, we got a really nice coffee. So, we just try to make you comfortable. Okay. So you come in, sit down, and then really the first meeting is just 45 minutes of us just talking. Okay.
Yeah.
We're just talking, I a lot of times I don't even open my folder here. We're sitting there and I want to know, tell me about yourself and, what brought you here to this point. And what I would say is there's usually kind of two camps that I start to really very quickly can pick up on. And sometimes if you raise your left hand, right? As he was saying, if you would say that, like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, as far, financially speaking, I feel like a lot of people, if they feel they're over their head with this, then they'll quickly say, hey, Brandon, I'm kind of lost here on some of these things. And I appreciate the honesty, number one, right? Because that helps me communicate better to you, because this does nobody any good if I'm sitting here talking over your head on certain things. So speak up, just be like, hey, Brandon, I mean, I've really just been kind of doing what I've been told to do. That is put in my 401k and I've saved. This is what I've saved. And everyone always says, I know it's not a lot. And you probably see people with so much more, but that's when I stop you right there, because what you have saved is everything to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's 500,000 or 650 or $1 million, don't worry. Do not compare yourself to other people. Okay. Because what you have saved, it's number one, it was your hard work for decades for some idea of being able to retire and finally do the things that you really want to do, with your spouse, kids, grandkids, those type of things. So I treat your life savings with velvet gloves.
Right.
Okay. Super, super careful. And we have to be super thoughtful with that money. So do not disparage your life's work there. So we take a look at it. And if I change my language and I talk with things that we talk about, maybe stuff that's less technical, and I'll focus more on why we need to make certain changes. Okay. Like because of a market crash, right? You're feeling anxiety because what if the markets go down in this life savings? Because you can remember back in 2008, right? And you probably could be nodding your head. Yes, that was really scary, but luckily I wasn't about to retire, but now I am. Okay. So we start talking about why we need to make some changes and the importance of income, why income is the most important thing in retirement, being tax efficient. And then let's reduce our risk in the market, right? Those are kind of the three areas that we're going to focus on. But if maybe you raised your right hand, maybe I've got it backwards. But if I can tell that you know your way around a little bit, some of these sectors and some of these ETFs and your investments, you've maybe made some thoughtful purchases in the past and things like that. Well, that's great too. Okay, so then we focus in more on looking at your tax statuses. okay, tax deferred, after tax money, or tax free, because we want to pursue growth in certain ones more than other ones. Okay. We want to start tapping certain accounts earlier than other ones. Okay. So there's reasons why we need to start doing some of these more complex things. And of course, we need to look at, okay, how are we invested? Okay.
Right.
Because you might be invested in something that is more designed for growth.
So, Brandon, you're giving us a kind of a peek behind the scenes of what that initial consultation, that initial conversation with you and the team, what it feels like, what it looks like, what can we expect? But what about the fees? What's the charge to come and sit down with you to, for the time it takes to have this conversation, to have that, chocolate chip cookie? How much is that going to cost me?
That cookie is absolutely free. Okay. So I do not charge for this first appointment or a second appointment. Mark, honestly, I don't have a problem of tire kickers. Okay. The people, yes, there are some people that come in and we have a meeting or two or three, and then, it's not a fit or whatever, and they don't become a client. But most often people do. Yeah. And so, then if we get to that point and you like our planning process and our income plan, risk management, tax planning that we do, I'm very transparent about the fees, how I make money, who's paying me. And we do discuss that. But your question here for this first appointment, there's no charge. I do not charge for that. So let me just encourage you, if you've been thinking, I probably should call Brandon. I listen to the show a lot. I've heard his commercials. I've seen him on TV, whatever. He seems like he's kind of a normal dude. He's not going to, come in and, right. So I say, let's do it. Let's have this conversation. You might be doing a lot of things correct. I might not even be able to help a whole lot. I don't know. I mean, I've had that before, and you might already be in low cost ETFs, and you might already have things designed for dividends and such, but there might be some areas, maybe a blind spot or a crack in the plan that I can address, and that would bring value to you and your overall dreams and goals. So pick up the phone. That number's 843-890-2400. Again, 843-890-2400. And if you've saved $500,000 or more, I want to sit down, have this first appointment with you, and then what we can do is we can take a look at maybe that IRA or your 401k, okay, the money where you've saved for decades. Let me give you a second opinion on what you're paying in fees, how much volatility you're walking around with at this very risky time here of the election.
Right.
We can address that and see where it goes from there.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.